Hey survivors, it's Survivor Dan, and I've just finished up part 2 of my tips and tricks series, and here it is. I hope you enjoy. Did you know that riding in a vehicle can protect you from trap damage? That's right, you can completely surround your base with spike traps and just ride right through them in any vehicle. You can go through barbed wire, wood and iron spike traps, and even electric fences. Now I did test out blade traps and they will hit you every time. I did find if you go through the dart traps fast enough, you usually won't get hit. One of the most useful items in the game is the Crucible. It lets you craft forged steel. If you're like me, you'll probably see one on day 1 for 15,000 dukes and have no money, and then not see one till day 100. Well, a great way to get a free Crucible is the challenge reward Kill 50 Zombie Cops. A great place to find them is at police stations and breaking into locked cop cars instead of lockpicking. This can be dangerous though. When you're all done, redeem your reward, go back to a trader, and they'll offer you a Crucible. Speaking of cop cars, as you just saw, if you break into them without lockpicks, they will spawn tough enemies. I've heard that you can damage them till they're low health and then shoot them from far away. Initially I tried this and I found that the enemies did still spawn, but I found if I moved far enough away that the cop car would no longer render, then shoot it, it would damage the car without spawning any enemies. Another solution I found is to damage the car to low health and then ram it with any vehicle, even the bicycle. This will set off the alarm, but no enemies will spawn because the game doesn't see the damage being dealt to the car as from the player. Did you know that almost all consumables have a duration that can stack up to 3 times? All these drinks, all these meds, all of candy, and all the biome smoothies have stackable durations. Some consumables don't stack, like painkillers and radioactive mushrooms. Now all cooked foods do have a max stamina bonus, but it does not stack, so be sure to space those out. Also, pumpkin cheesecake has a bartering bonus that does stack, and sham chowder has a fortitude bonus that stacks. But like the other foods, their max stamina bonus does not stack. Now all canned and uncooked food does not give a stamina bonus. However, many of the canned goods are needed for recipes, so be sure to save these ones right here, and feel free to eat these ones, as they aren't used in any recipe. Now they did just change the labels on all these recently, so if you're not sure if it's used in a recipe, just click here where it says recipes, and it'll show you what recipes it's used in. If it's not used in a recipe, the word recipes won't even show up. You've probably seen this water filter before. It will allow you to drink from any water source with no negative effects. The problem is that you have to go to a water source to use it. Well, there is a solution. You can bring the water source to you. If you make a metal bucket and scoop up some water, you can take it anywhere. And wherever you dump it will be an infinite water source. You can pour it in a hole or a hollow-shaped block if you like, or just dump it on the ground. It won't disappear, and you can drink out of it all you like, and you'll have infinite water. Do you have younger kids around while you're playing? Or are you just tired of Trader Rex's bad attitude?
Just get the out of here.
Just click on Options, Audio, and then click on Profanity Filter, and he'll be slightly nicer.
You're getting on my nerves, friend.
Normally, oil shale can only be found in these deposits in the desert. However, if you haven't found the desert yet, or just don't want to travel all the way there, you can find it in these giant oil tanks. I've found several different ones that contain oil, and here they are. Okay, so first up we have the largest deposit, industrial tank number 1 with 1,560 oil shale, and it's all in the bottom of the tank. With the next highest amount, we have the busted industrial tank with 960 oil shale, with some located inside and a patch outside as well. After that, we have clunky oil with 540 oil shale, with some inside the tank and a couple small spots outside. Next up, we have the destroyed industrial tank that has just 240 oil shale, and it's just these 4 deposits around the tank. Alright, lastly, if you ever need any coal, keep an eye out for the leaking industrial tank. Instead of oil shale, this one actually contains coal, which could save you a trip to the snow biome. Alright, last up, we have industrial tank number 2, which contains coal, and it's all in the bottom of the tank as well. If you're going to harvest these, or harvest anything really, don't forget to max out mother load. You can get double the amount. Also, if you're wearing a max level miner's helmet, you can get a bonus 30%, or if you eat some rock busters, you can get an additional 20% on top of that. When starting out in 7 Days to Die, farm plot blocks are pretty resource intensive to make, just to grow one piece of food. But there's good news. There are several POIs that have free farm plot blocks that you can use. Let's look at the first one. First up, we have the Crypts, which has 60 farm plots. All these planter boxes are usable by the player. Just get rid of all the bushes and plant your own seeds. Keep in mind, while you can plant in these, you can't dig them up with a shovel and move them like you would a normal farm plot block. These are slightly different and called farm plots and not farm plot blocks. Okay, next up we have Judie Witch with 53 farm plots. You'll notice all this farmland here looks perfect for planting, but unfortunately you can't plant there. Just the planter boxes are farm plots. And here's the location of all the planter boxes you can use at Judie Witch. Next up we have Higashi Pharmaceutical with a whopping 136 farm plots. Unfortunately, this is not a building you'll be clearing early game, but if you do come across it later, it's a great POI to turn into a farm. Note that a few of these farm plots have blocks above them, so you have to destroy them first, because you can't have anything blocking the sunlight. Now there's 4 plots here under these cement pillars that are hard to destroy, so I just skipped those for now. And here are all the farm plots on top of Higashi Tower. Also, make sure you put down a land claim block at any of these POIs so it doesn't get reset if you accept a mission or if you have chunk reset turned on. Lastly, we have Johnnytown. Now this used to be the ultimate free farm with a whopping 150 farm plots, but it looks like they secretly nerfed this one between 1.4 and 2.0. Now it has a grand total of 0 farm plots. I didn't notice this till now, or I would have put it in my stealth nerfs video, which you can see up here if you missed it. I really don't understand why they got rid of this. These special POIs add a lot of fun to the game by having unique building potential, and they're exciting if you actually find one. If they thought 150 plots was too OP, why not just bring it down to 50 or something? But it's 0 now. But this isn't a rant video, so let's move on to the next tip.
Did you know that you can change the shape of farm plot blocks? Just like a building cube, you hold down the R button, then select the shape you want. Now you don't have to have square planter boxes anymore. Also, did you know mushrooms don't require farm plots or sunlight to grow? And you can stick them just about anywhere. Those things look kind of gross. Candy from vending machines can be very useful, but there's one that really stands out. This is Jailbreaker's candy. If you eat one of these, you can pick as many locks as you want, regardless of their difficulty, for 6 minutes with just one lockpick, and it'll never break. So whenever you come across safes, lock cop cars, or loot chests, be sure to mark it on your map so you can hit them up one after another. You may have noticed if you loot some containers, the containers themselves will disappear after you loot them. So you can break them down and get their materials, but you won't get the loot inside. Or you can loot them and the container will poof. Well, there's a trick where you can get the materials from the container as well as the contents of the container. You may have seen people do this with nests. You open a nest, then you exit out of it, and then you destroy it. You'll get the materials from the nest and the contents will pop out in a backpack. Well, this works on a lot more than just nests. Early game, you'll want 100 plastic for the dew collector. So use this trick on piles of trash and you'll get paper and plastic as well as the contents of the bags. Duffel bags and backpacks give cloth. Now if you happen to find Wasteland Treasures Volume 3, you can find acid from medical cabinets, small chemistry sets, piles of meds, and acid barrels. Just use the same trick on them.
Did you know that robotic turrets don't require electricity, give full XP for kills, are portable, and can even be used while you're holding them? Auto turrets, on the other hand, do require electricity, are not portable, and only give XP if you put points into advanced engineering. If you want to learn all the details about traps and turrets, check out this Ultimate Traps and Turrets guide.
Do you have a lot of things to harvest? Well, the knife has the fastest attack animation and takes the least amount of stamina, so it's going to be your most efficient harvesting tool. Speaking of harvesting, there's a little trick that can speed up your corpse harvesting. This is the power attack animation when looking at a corpse. And this is the power attack animation when you're not looking at a corpse. Well, if you look away from a corpse and use the power attack and then quickly look at the corpse, you can harvest just a little bit faster. And here's a side-by-side comparison of harvesting 3 corpses. Now this trick does take a little bit of practice too, as you'll probably miss the timing a few times starting out, and you'll get the slow animation mixed in there every now and then. I know I did. And as you can see, it does save you a little bit of time. There is a minimum and maximum build height in 7 Days to Die. Like Minecraft, the minimum is at bedrock and it's indestructible, and the max is at 251 blocks above bedrock. Now I never trust the wiki, so I had to test this for myself. So I blasted all the way down to bedrock and built a tower as tall as I could. Turns out in this rare occasion, the wiki was right. It's 251 blocks. This is also a great way to see where all the different biomes are located if you're on a random gen map, and you don't even need to make it half as tall as this to find out. Here's the view after nerd pulling up 50 blocks on a clear sunny day. And here's the view at 100. And as you can see, that's plenty high enough to see every biome on the entire map. After jumping off this into the river, I was wondering how much water would it take to break my fall. as this would be useful info in case you wanted to bail out of a tall base. So I built this little swimming pool at the base of my 251 block tower to test it out. I can tell you it's not always consistent. It took hours of trial and error to nail down how many blocks of water you need for various heights. So I started off with a pool that was 3 blocks deep. This wasn't going to cut it. So I started testing out at lower heights first to see how high I could get without taking damage. Jumping into a pool of water 3 blocks deep is safe for 10 blocks. Now if you jump at 11 blocks, you may be safe 90% of the time, but there is a chance you could break a leg or die. So I'm just going to give you the numbers that I found you could jump from consistently and never get hurt. If I could jump 10 times from a height, I considered it a good number. Okay, so at 4 blocks of water, I found you could fall from a height of 34 with no injuries. Originally I thought 35 was good, but on the 9th try I died, so keep that variance in mind. With 5 blocks of water underneath you, I found you could jump from a height of 93 blocks. Originally thought I was good with 94 blocks, but I died on the 9th try with that one too. Alright, with 6 blocks of water underneath you, I found you could fall from 134 blocks. I'm not sure who's building bases this tall, but there you go. Okay, and finally at 7 blocks of water, you can fall from a whopping 191 blocks. At 192 blocks, I did die, so if you want to go any higher than that, you're going to need 8 blocks of water. Now you may have noticed the hay bales and mattresses, and yes, I tested those out too. First though, let's see what the baseline fall damage is. This is with no parkour or mods in your boots. You can safely fall from 6 blocks. At block 7, you start taking damage and you could get injured. Now back in the day, you could jump from any height onto a hay bale and it would break your fall, but that's been patched. Now you can safely jump from 25 blocks without taking any damage. At 26, you will take damage and you could get injured. Next up we have mattresses. I heard that they could break your fall as well, so I tested them out. Turns out they don't let you jump from any higher without taking damage, but they do reduce your fall damage when you do jump from 7 blocks or more. Now I was thinking that you could craft these, but I guess you can't, or you can't anymore. I did see you can make a king size bed, so I tested that out. You can safely jump on the king size bed from 17 blocks, and at 18 blocks you'll start taking damage or get injured. Overall, hay bales are going to be your best bet to mitigate fall damage, as they only take 10 plant fibers to make and they give you a nice 25 block safe fall distance. Honestly, I was amazed to see I could jump from the very top of this at 193 blocks and survive with the broken leg. And that's all the tips and tricks I have today. Also in the comments, let me know which tips you've never heard before and which ones were most helpful. Be sure to stay tuned for part 3, which I'm almost done with, and I'll be posting up soon. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to check out my other videos.